नमस्री यतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे. Our revered Adhyaksha Maharaj has gone to Cherrapunji to participate in the centenary celebrations of the center. You know, Ramakrishna mission was founded by Swami Vivekananda in 1897. So a good number of our first and second and third decades of the just to make both ends meet. You can't think on things metaphysical, things really philosophical. You will not have the question who created this universe, who is the creator of this universe, I am connected with the creator. You know, that becomes a luxury for you because that luxury is not available to you. Because you are so preoccupied with your immediate necessities of life, you will not have the time actually to explore the real meaning of life. That will become possible only when you have leisure at your disposal. That's why Swami said, without leisure, no intellectual and spiritual development would be possible. But you see, all the machines that we have created only with the intention of having more leisure at our disposal, right? Why did we create all these machines? So that machines will do the job. I will be on leave. Now I will have a holiday at my disposal. I don't have to work, machines will work for me. And so then I will have leisure. What I will do with that leisure? And I will explore into the greater mysteries of life. But unfortunately, what happened? We have created so much of luxury and we have all started occupying these urban spaces where actually land is costly, buildings are costly, everything is costly, everything you have to purchase. And that's why you see 30, 40 years back, only head of the family, the man would work. Today, both husband and wife, they work, but still the money is not sufficient. Both they work, but still the money they find insufficient to survive in the city, urban space. Cost of living has gone up like that. Where a huge number of people are living in one small area, small space. That's why the leisure that you have hoped for, the leisure that you have expected by creating machines, you don't get it. If you see, people in villages, they have more leisure at their disposal today. People who are in agriculture, they may not be getting much money, okay? Maybe they are just at the survival level. They can't, save much money by doing agriculture. But they have more leisure at their disposal. In a year of 365 days, if they work for 5-6 months, that's good enough. Rest 5-6 months is a holiday only, okay? You have sown the crop and now what you will do? It will grow on its own. You don't have to go on every day, okay? You have to push it from below. You grow, you don't have to tell it. Nature does the job. Your job is only to sow the seed. At the time of harvesting you have to do, in between you have to do the little weeding and maybe you have to put little fertilizer. So anyway, that agriculture, though you get some leisure there, people are not happy for various reasons because it has become less profitable as an occupation. That's why farmers are struggling a lot. They have their own worries and anxieties. But other artisans, traditionally, when life was less centralized, where people were living more predominantly in villages, they had plenty of time to celebrate a festival, to celebrate a marriage. A marriage means 10 days before and 10 days after also, they would be in a celebratory mood, earlier days, not now. And also festival means same. 1 week before they would be planning for the festival, how to celebrate. Entire village would celebrate. And the mood of the festival would last for another 10 to 15 days even after the festival is over. So in our Sanatan Dharma, we have so many festivals. Yes, almost 2 festivals per month. So almost 365 days, you would be in a celebratory mood all the time, thinking of God. Our festivals are all connected to God, right? Singing the glories of God and listening to the leelas of the Lord. Some Harikatha, Burakatha, all these things used to happen in villages. So primarily their life was, so focused on truth and God, spiritually oriented life we used to lead early times. But now actually, we post-industrial revolution, the world has become a kind of one village, particularly after this advent of internet. So what is available in one country is available everywhere. The world doesn't live in an isolation anymore now. Technologically, the whole world is more or less the same. Same machines are being used everywhere. Same cell phones, same computers. And also, culturally also, the distinctiveness is slowly ceasing. Today, so much of westernization has happened in India. The economies which are actually big, which are dominating the world, their culture tends to spread faster than the culture and the traditions and customs of the countries which are poorer. So, world has become a kind of one family, one unit now. The diversity, the differentiation is slowly going away. Of course, some countries, some civilizations, some cultures are struggling hard to preserve their cultural identity. It is very important. You need to preserve that. Uniformity is no good, right? It's a differentiation, it's a duality, it's a differentiation that lends beauty to the creation. And if there is a thing like there should be only one culture in the world, then you have to debate and discuss which is the culture that should be all providing, that should be taken by every citizen of the world. Okay? Then that should be a spiritually oriented culture, God oriented culture, where that only brings peace and fulfillment to people. Only Indian culture in that way is deeply God oriented culture, which integrates the world into one family, which takes human beings to the highest pinnacle of, human glory. So, namely, becoming one with the divine, which we call yoga. Yoga is to yoke oneself with the divine. Only this piece of creation has the capacity, to get united with the Creator. We know that, civilization, this organic evolution has stopped here. Hereafter, there is no organic evolution. It's not that human being will evolve into some other species after a few million years. Hereafter, it is intellectual and spiritual evolution. Only this species has that ability. Okay? A dog or cat cannot have a question like who is the creator of this universe and cannot seek an answer to that question because they are not cerebrally endowed. They don't have enough brain to reflect and to put such questions. We know that. But we have the cerebral capacity to investigate into the nature of the truth. That is the beauty of this human existence. But we are not able to do that because, as I have said, we are totally preoccupied with at the stage level of basic necessities of life, roti, kapada, and makan. But now, a large section of the society, may not be much in India, but in other countries at least, they have risen above this survival mode, basic necessity. They have plenty of money, assets, and resources. For the rest, 5 generation, 10 generation, they don't have to worry. Okay, for food, clothing, and shelter, they have that much of resources. But still, are they the happiest lot in the world? No. And they are the people who should really be pursuing the spiritual path. Because that kind of emptiness, meaninglessness in life is assailing them. It does assail. Because that is the nature of the mind. Because now you are preoccupied till the other day with survival, how to survive, food, clothing, and shelter. Now they are taken care of. Now what you do? Now the question is, you will feel that boredom, ennui, meaninglessness in life. It's natural because you have the cerebral capacity. You are such a evolved being on the planet. God has given you actually the capacity to investigate into the nature of the truth. Then nature will naturally goad you in that direction. It can't allow you because it doesn't want the evolutionary work go a waste. Because nature has done, even if you think Darwin's theory of evolution is true, and we have evolved from lower species, and it took millions of years for nature to evolve a cerebral capacity of this size, of this magnitude, which we have. From chimpanzee to human being, the evolution is actually too phenomenal, right? The genetic difference, they say, is very little. But in terms of cerebral capacity, whatever the evolution has happened, a phenomenal evolution has happened. The degree is too high. And so now you are given an instrument that has the capacity and the potential to investigate into the nature of the truth. And so, how do you do that? You have to do that. So then only you will come out of that state of meaninglessness in life. What more? What next? As Adi Shankara would put it, tatah kim, tatah kim. Okay. You achieved this, you achieved this, you achieved that. Fine, fine, okay. What next? What is there in front of us? Only death, right? We may be thinking that we have done very big things in life. But what is staring us into our face? We are all walking straight towards the grave. Whatever the big thing that we may have achieved in life, but the destination, if you are the body, just the physical body, the destination is only grave. So, now you have to think about conquering death. Now you have to think about attaining illumination. Now you have to think about reaching the truth. So most of the people think that that is a natural thing, okay? You take things for granted in that sense. So it's an inevitable end. What we can do about it? We are totally helpless before it. No. You have come to the conclusion. Don't come to such conclusions. As a being, you are endowed with the capacity to investigate into that also. Why should I die? Then the question arises, what dies in me? The body, the physical. What happens to the psychological? The psychological actually goes into the next physical form. It doesn't die, the mind doesn't die. It will die only when you attain nirvana. Right? And now you will understand that. Slowly, when you think that if I am physical object, just the body, physical body, it has a temporary existence. As a psychological body, mind also you have temporary existence, okay, till the samsara is over. Next birth, one day you have to put a full stop to birth. And beyond this physical and psychological body exists a real nature, Atman, consciousness, which is perfect by nature. This meaningless is coming because of this. The infinite in you wants to go back to the infinite, but you are stuck at the level of the finite. The infinite in you, that is natural longing, wants to become the infinite. You can't subjugate that longing of the infinite to go back to the infinite. That's why Khalil Gibran beautifully says, humanity is a river of light which is traveling from ex-eternity to eternity. Before getting the embodiment, we were the infinite, we were the supreme consciousness, we were the Atman. Now temporarily we have got this upadhi, body, mind. And when you attain enlightenment, these upadhis are dropped, again you become the infinite. Ex-eternity to eternity. Now you are ex-eternity. Tomorrow you will become eternity when you attain enlightenment. So this is embodiments, body, mind, which we call samsara. It's a temporary cycle. You will break through the cycle. You have to break through the cycle. Nothing cyclical will give you real peace and happiness. You are bound. Your soul is seeking freedom. Your soul is seeking independence. Your soul is actually seeking its real nature. So that's right. That's why this meaninglessness comes into life. You have something more to explore. You have to do that consciously. You have to get to your infinite nature. That's why Swamiji says beautifully, my question is not how, my question is why. Vivekananda. How of things I leave to children, my question is why. We are studying the universe. For example, as part of medicine we study the anatomy, physiology. How human body functions. How the universe functions. How the physical forces are acting. how the chemical forces are acting, operating, how the biological things are happening, how. But Swami said, why? So you have to graduate from how to why. So body is functioning in a certain way. My question is, why a body? Why a formation like this? Mind functions in a certain way. We all understand psychology, psychiatry, we are studying the mind. My question is, why a formation like this? Why a construct like this? Why an entity like this? Why an entity like body? Why an entity like mind? So when you put that question, what you are asking basically, who has designed it, who has conceived it? So same, if you apply to the external universe, okay? The universe actually is there, there's a design is there, the plan is there, it's working in a particular way. But who is the architect of the universe? Okay, he has designed it. Why did he design it? Why did he create it? You are part of the creation, right? Why did he design it? Why did he create it? The question, it takes you to the creator slowly. What is the purpose? There are different 2-3 answers can be given. You say, God has no purpose in creating this universe. We say that it's Leela, sport. But I know that it doesn't convince you. It doesn't really convince us because we take it too seriously. Yes, God has a purpose in creating this universe. What He expects of a being like us. He has created so many animals, beings. They say that He was not satisfied with that. He was creating higher animal. Then He has created this, and now He has become satisfied. Because this animal, this creature, this life has the capacity to know me. Now the Father has become happy. And now He expects the child to look for Him, to seek Him, to search for Him. He is playing a kind of hide and seek with the children. Or you may say God is playing hide and seek with Himself. Right? Everything is He. All the 5 elements are He. All the trigunas are He, with which our mind is made up of. Right? Our body is made up of Panchabhutas, 5 elements. Our minds are made up of Trigunas, Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Who has created the 5 elements is who has created the owner of the Trigunas. So He is the owner of all the physical and psychological bodies in this universe. Practically God owns everything. The Creator owns everything. He owns you and me, and He owns everybody in this universe. So when everything belongs to Him, right? So is He playing with Himself, and everything ends there. You say, I am suffering. Sufferer cannot be there. Suffering can be there only when there is a sufferer. Right? Suffering can be there only when there is a sufferer. Who is the sufferer? I am the sufferer. What do you mean by that I? The body? Not yours. Mind? Not yours. Then how can you suffer? There is nothing like I. It's fictitious. Totally fictitious, but we don't investigate into our own real nature. Swamiji says beautifully in his Karma Yoga lectures, the problem with human being is that human being doesn't examine himself. You are ready to examine the whole universe, but you don't examine yourself. This is the problem. We are out to examine the whole universe, right? We have dived deep into the oceans. We have actually flown to the moon. Everything we are doing, exploring, examining the universe, dissecting things and finding out. Unending exploration. What about examining this self? That's the problem. They don't examine themselves. Human being doesn't examine himself, Swami said. So then you will have this question when you said that. God is playing with Himself. God is playing hide and seek with Himself. Everything is He owns everything. So by saying constantly that there is nothing like I, because this body which is made of 5 elements and the mind which is made of 3 gunas belongs to God, let Him do whatever He wants to do with that which belongs genuinely to Him. Where is the question of I? When there is no I, the sufferer is not there, how can there be suffering? There is only one, right? We shall say the drashta and drushya. The drushya exists only in relation to the drashta. Okay, now our problem is that he is causing pain to me, she is causing pain to me. This has not happened, that has not happened. In our interaction with this universe and people, we suffer. Because you and me, right, two things are there. Drashta and Drusya, two things are there. But Vedanta says that there are no things, there is only Drashta. Drusya is myth, Drusya is Maya. Varma Satyam, Jagat Mithya. Drusya is Mithya. So, how do you know, Swamiji, that Drusya is Mithya? Every day it is happening in our dream state, sleep, deep sleep state. For a few hours the world disappears for us, only Drashta exists. We exist as pure Atman, we exist as pure Sakshi, witness. Only when you wake up, I comes, with that I, the fictitious I, the mind comes, with the mind comes the universe, Drusya. Drusya exists only in relation to the mind. You dissolve the mind, the Drusya disappears. And there is only Drashta, pure consciousness remains, pure awareness remains. That is our real nature. But our problem is to trace the steps back into the source of I and exist as just Drashta. That's the greatest difficulty. To go back into the source of our own being, to be in oneself, is the most difficult task, challenging task. You know, they say legend. Alexander, when he came to the borders of India, he had an encounter with Dandamis, one of the yogis. And somebody there actually asked Alexander about the countries that he had conquered. He said, I conquered this, I conquered this. What you would be doing next? He said, I would be conquering India. Okay, Magadasam. Then I would be conquering this and that, he said. Next, he was. So he has exhausted his list of the things that he had to do, he had to conquer. And he has also told whatever that he has already conquered. And he said, I will relax. After conquering all that, what you do, Alexander? I will relax. That yogi seems to have remarked, what do you think, Alexander, I am doing now? Right? So, after doing everything, you just want to be in yourself, right? With yourself. You can do it now itself. But Alexander never could rest, never could relax. Because he could never relax. He died peaceless. He was going back on the way, he had malaria and died. And last, when he was on deathbed, his biggest problem was to divide his spoils, whatever the land that he has conquered, among his generals, whom to give what. Right? Even if you accumulate, your mind would be preoccupied with this. Who would rule this? He never thought that he would quit the world so quickly. He had to leave the world so quickly. He thought he would live long. So he thought actually he would be able to plan better and whom to give what. But he had hurriedly distributed the regions. Because after 6 or 7 days of high fever, he understood that the mrityu, death was knocking at his doorstep. And recovery would be impossible. And that was the time, in the last 3-4 days, he was planning, this to whom, this to whom. You will be ruling this part, you will be ruling that part. So this is the thing, turning inward, going inward. I remember, I have told you the last time also the story. In India, particularly in South India, we call district magistrates collectors. In the north, district collector is called district magistrate, DM office, and collector's office. In the south, we still call collector. The nomenclature we have kept as British times. Their duty was to collect tax for the government. That's why they are called collectors, who would collect tax for government. So they would collect tax from different sources, agriculture, business and other things. They say, the legend, I don't know if that is really happening, incident, not a legend. The Madurai collector, they would collect a tax from temples also. What are the temple revenue? A part of the revenue has to go to government. So Madurai Meenakshi temple, very popular temple from so many years, people would go in thousands and thousands. We Hindus have been in the habit of, giving all our riches to God. All our gods are super rich. And of course, Lord Venkateshwara is the richest. So much of property he has. Right. We make them rich. We offer presents there. hundi collection, ornaments, manyas, endowment lands. Those temples are super rich. That's the reason, why government has taken away all our temples now under Endowment Act. And the temples have become rich, the administrative committees, the dharmakarthas, the trustees, they would quarrel among themselves. For money has come now. Wherever there is money, there will be trouble. Wherever there is money, there will be greed, and then the group will fight among themselves. So practically every temple board actually has gone to the court. Right. Mind-boggling litigation. People, they didn't have that dharma, sense of dharma, and they were not that pure. Then the litigation, quarrels, fightings. Government passed an Endowment Act and taken away all the temples. It's like, two cats were quarreling, and in between a monkey came and took away the spoil. Like that it happened with so everything. Now we are in the government control, all the temples. So because of money. So in Madurai, the collector was checking the expenditure of the temple. One of the column, it was written, the food expenditure of the yogi. Some amount was written there. So he was asking, he couldn't understand what is that. Food expenditure of the yogi. The word yogi he did not understand. Food expenditure. So what is my yogi? And so some person, what he does, what do you mean by yogi? Collector asked, the British collector, he doesn't know, he's a yogi. So he must do something. Why did you give food to him? Right? It's an expenditure. What he does in the temple. People could not answer. They said, he doesn't do anything, he just sits there. Or somebody who doesn't do anything, how can you give food? He has to work, right? He has to do something. How can you feed a person who doesn't do anything? He's a lazy guy. You must ask him to do some work. If he does some work only for the temple, then you can feed him. Otherwise, you should not be feeding him. Then they could not understand how to explain this to collector. What he does, again he asks, he doesn't do anything, he just sits there in himself. But in the temple premises, he sits and then they feed him. That's He did not understand. Why you feeding a lazy person? Somebody who doesn't do anything. Okay? What right he has, for food when he doesn't do anything. Okay. Our Swamis also sometimes experience this problem. Today we remembered our most revered President Maharaj, Smarananandji. Once he was in America, I heard. So that immigration counter, the lady there asked him his occupation. He put it as monk. What is a monk? What he does? What to tell? Monk is basically a beggar, right? The bhikkhu. How to tell the occupation is a monk? What do you mean a monk? She didn't get what it means. What is the calling? Occupation. Monk. So this is the problem. So here the Englishman, the British collector also had the same problem. Sir, he doesn't do anything, he just sits in himself. Then collector ordered that, don't waste money on him, such people, lazy people. Then one of the, trustees of the temple, sir, you sit like that, we will feed you free for life. Okay? You do that, we will feed you for the rest of your life. You have to sit in yourself. You don't have to mess up with the world, you just be in yourself. If you can be like that, we will feed you for the rest of the life. Then the collector understood that, this is a different land. Their idea of strength is different. Even today also, this is the only country. You go to a village, okay? You go to a village even now. We think they are illiterate, semi-educated, they don't know. You just go to the outskirts of the village, okay? Sit under a tree, put a mat and sit under a tree. Close your eyes for half an hour, 1 hour, just like that. First day, second day, you be there. People will slowly come to you. They will make a beeline. First they will actually put little flowers. Afterward they will bring little vermilion, turmeric. After 5 days they will bring coconuts. Slowly. You just sit there, that's all. Why do you think they are doing actually? Because they know that you are manifesting a greater strength. How? By controlling your mind. You are able to still your mind. You are calmly sitting with yourself means you are able to still your mind. They know that by stilling your mind you experience greater joy and happiness. Stilling the mind is so difficult. You are able to sit with yourself, you are able to spend time in yourself and with yourself. You are able to calm your mind, you are manifesting a greater strength. So that capacity, I am respecting you, I am worshipping you. They make a god of you in no time. So I too want this kind of strength. I am now peaceless. That's tormenting me, that's a torture to me. I want to have this kind of strength. The strength which you are demonstrating. To be in oneself. That is the challenge. That's how actually you have to demonstrate your strength. The greater the control you have over your mind, the greater the strength you are manifesting. The greater the power you are manifesting. And if you conquer the mind completely, you will understand the entire cosmic mind. Because all individual minds are the expressions and manifestations of the cosmic mind. You would understand the whole universe. You know when Swami Vivekananda came to Hyderabad, you know that yogi incident, when Babaji had taken out fruits, draksha, right? You write whatever on your slip and I would create this, he said. In fact, he did create. And Swamiji thought it is somebody's sleight of hand, like a magic. No. Because he was a yogi, because he had conquered his own mind, individual mind, he had become one with the cosmic mind. Okay, he would wield such power upon your mind. Whatever I want you to see, you will see that. My sankalpa will be so powerful. So if I want you to see apple there, and you will see apple there. That's all, you will see. Because he has mastered his own individual mind. He has attained oneness with the cosmic mind, and he would do that. But that's not a great thing. They would not, don't ask. Don't get to the miracle side of the spirituality. People very soon, go to the miracle side, parapsychology. If you are a spiritual person, Swamiji, you will show my hand, they will show you your hands. Okay. You have to tell me my future. So this is the problem. They want us to play the role of a parapsychologist. Okay. You don't get into that. That I am saying that Swami Vivekananda had that experience. The Swamiji understood, yes, once you master your mind, you can actually control any mind. Even in America, when he was discussing one day, he was Vedanta. He was feeling so much of power. At one point of time, he thought, I can mold each of these minds the way I want. So there are two ways. If that such a strong mind wants you, actually he will erase all your prarabdha in no time and he will bring you to self-realization. But they will not do that because they want you to grow naturally and evolve naturally. Through your own experiences, that's the beauty of life. Otherwise, even if the experience is thrust upon you, you won't be able to digest it. In Sri Ramakrishna's life, it happened. His own nephew, Ram, had pestered Sri Ramakrishna so much because he was not able to understand, he was not able to guess actually what his mama was experiencing. Sri Ramakrishna was experiencing samadhi day in and day out. He was experiencing the highest bliss because he was completely desireless. He had no identification with the body and mind, right? And he wanted to have a taste of that experience. And Sri Ramakrishna said it would come in a natural course of time because you are in company, in association of Sri Ramakrishna, slowly you would grow in dispassion. When your dispassion becomes complete, when your renunciation becomes complete, for that actually discrimination is required. What is this body? You would analyze it. No, I am not so happy with it. What is this mind? It is by nature imperfect. I don't want to identify myself with these upadhis. There are limitations. I don't want to identify myself. When that understanding grows naturally in you, then you wants to separate yourself, as it were, from these two upadhis. Then you get established in your Atman. Then only you can digest the experience because you have prepared yourself psychologically. But without that psychological preparation, if I thrust the highest experience upon you, even Vivekananda could not digest. He said, I have my father and mother, what are you doing? Sri Ramakrishna, when he had given him the samadhi, he did not prepare himself psychologically at that point. Then he brought back the experience. He said, okay, again it will happen after some time. The Ram Sri Ramakrishna touched and he said he could see only Sri Ramakrishna everywhere, that undivided consciousness, same universal consciousness, which Sri Ramakrishna had experienced with the Kali, Mother Kali. When he was about to chop off his head, what was the experience that he had? than one cosmic light, the torrid light, the ethereal light engulfed him, everything, the room, the image, everything got disappeared. He fell unconscious. The same experience when it was given to Hridayaram, he couldn't digest it. Oh, Mama, I can't. One more householder disciple, he also had pestered Sri Ramakrishna so much. Vaikuntanath Sanyal, he said it would happen. Kalein Atman Vindati, the Lord says in the Bhagavad Gita. In course of time, everybody will realize the truth. It has to happen in a natural, way, where you prepare the ground, where you prepare yourself completely, that this world is fully Maya, this body. World, I mean, includes our body and mind. Whenever this Vedanta, they say this world, or when they Vedanta, they use the word nature, that includes your own body and mind. They're part of nature. There are only two, Purusha and Prakriti, the spirit and matter, or matter. So everything is matter. Mind is also matter, Sukshma Sarira they call. The physical world, by body, which is matter, and mind is also Sukshma Sarira, matter. Everything is Prakriti. And what is Purusha? Soul, consciousness, God, Bhagavan. That's conscious. Purusha and Prakriti. The whole universe is nothing but Purusha and Prakriti. Every being is nothing but Purusha and Prakriti. So when you understand that Prakriti is only a manifestation, is a vikara, inferior modification. And when you want to go back to the source of your being, then you are prepared actually. The nature will get dropped automatically. And then you are in our real nature, which is bliss, which is Ananda, Satchit Ananda. That is the definition given to Purusha. So, this meaninglessness too, the real meaning. You will have to pursue the spiritual path. You have to realize your own nature. You have to realize your own nature. So coming back to the point that, why did He create? Because you cannot have that question. The Swami Vivekananda said, don't say. And now we say that why the individual is suffering, because of his purva karma he is suffering. In the last birth he did something, that's why he is suffering in this birth. Oh. Why did he do that in the last birth? A negative action. Before that he did something because of that samskara. You go like that. In the first place, who instigated him, to do that bad karma? It goes to God ultimately. Who instigated? God, for his play, it should be there, both good and bad should be there. Somebody he has to choose to play the role of a villain for sure. Otherwise the drama cannot go on. Why did he choose me actually to play the role of villain? You don't get a rational answer for that. Alright? And Swamiji beautifully asks, in the beginning, the Chandra Chakravarti, I think he was asking, in the beginning, how did it all happen to me? Who instigated me? Who goaded me to do the previous wrong action or negative action? There must be some beginning. And Swamiji asks, how do you know that there is a beginning? How do you know that there is a beginning for this creation? The creation is without beginning. That we cannot understand for sure. Because we are in time and space. Our mind cannot go beyond time and space. And so our philosophers have declared that there is no beginning for this universe. I know, again this answer doesn't satisfy us. There is no beginning to this universe. It's not easy to understand because we are in time and space. We are thinking everything in terms of time and space. There must be a beginning to the creation. So why I am suffering this birth? Because of previous birth of bad action. Why did I do bad action in that previous birth? And before that there was a birth, and before I did it. Oh, in the beginning, when first birth came into me, who instigated me to do a bad action? I was a good being, but somebody goaded me, somebody instigated me. You go there. But Swamiji says that there is no beginning to this creation. Of course, it's a little difficult to understand. For that, you need to transcend time and space. We are in Maya. As we are in Maya, we cannot have the answer. Because you cannot even ask the absolute, why did he create this universe, even if it is really has created. In Advaita, there is a theory, Ajatavada, where they say that Ajata, nothing has been born, nothing is created. No manifestation also, they don't agree. Only consciousness is there. They don't, nothing, no theory. Ajatavada, of course, but it's too high for us. I am saying that we don't get convinced with this also, that there is no beginning to this universe. Let us say, God has created with a purpose. He has a purpose in creating this universe. He is expecting something. Prayojana is there. God has a prayojana in creating this universe. What is that prayojana? Yes, He is expecting something from us. What is that He is expecting? That you would worship Him, you would seek Him. In the Bhagavad Gita, Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva, Moghasa Mogakarmana Mogajnana Vichetasaha. Rakshasim Asurim Chaiva Mohinim Prakrutim Sritaha. Moghasa, our hopes are vain. Mogakarmana, our actions are vain. Mogajnana, our knowledge is vain. This is Rakshasi Pravruti, he says. Then what is actually divine Prakriti? What an individual endowed with divine Prakriti does. The Lord explains in the next sloka beautifully. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakriti masrita bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakriti masrita. O Partha, O Arjuna. But the people who are Mahatmas, great souled ones, evolved ones, what they do? Daivim prakriti masrita, endowed with divine prakriti. Bhajanti ananya manso. Steadfast devotion they worship me. Bhajanti ananya manaso jnatva bhutadim avyayam. Having known me as the source of all beings, bhutadim avyayam, and imperishable. So to worship that imperishable and the beginning and source of all beings is the prayojana, is the goal of all our being. Human beings, we have to be doing that. And also the Lord says actually, that some people they don't worship. He says, Namam dushkrutino muda prabhadyante naradama. Right? So I am saying that I am not doing the highest Advaita, I am stuck down. Right. Why did God create the world? What He expects of us? What is the prayojana? The prayojana is this. The meaninglessness in life is coming precisely for this reason. The Lord is expecting us that we will seek Him, we will worship Him, we will surrender to Him. We will offer everything that we have at His feet. But we are not doing that. We are leading an ungrateful life. Dvaita, if you got it. Even if you say that everything, nothing we have created, so much we are taking from Prakriti, everything is God, God's vibhuti, God's manifestation. Are you conscious of that? Are you mindful of that? Do you express gratitude for that? Are you thankful for taking all these things from God? The air, the fire, fruits, vegetables, cereals, pulses, everything. Not one thing we have created. You are only consumer. We are consumers. While you consume, while you take, you just at least express a little gratitude, thankfulness for the Creator for giving you whatever that you get it from this universe. Otherwise, you are krutagna, ungrateful, right? Aren't we ungrateful? No, that's the. Otherwise, you just have this understanding that everything is created by the Lord, my father, my mother. I have a right in my father's property, so I am enjoying my proper father's property. But never ever forget the father. There's a problem. You can have this understanding that whatever that is the universe, you have every right to enjoy it. Because we are all children of God, God is our father. As children, we have the right in our father's property. You enjoy father's property, but don't forget that you are enjoying father's property. It's a father's creation. Otherwise, we are ungrateful. That's what the Lord is expecting of us. He says, Namam dushkrutino. The dushkrutis who do bad actions. Prabhadyante naradhamaha. The mean among human beings, the low among human beings, they don't worship me, they don't look at me. So that's why God is precisely dividing the world into two kinds of people. People who are endowed with the divine prakriti, daivim prakriti masrita, and also rakshasa pravrutti, asura pravrutti, where they don't become philosophical, they don't become spiritual, they don't seek the Creator. And naturally, meaninglessness assails you. We are not here for roti kabada and makan. You know, God is providing even for animals. Ants He is providing, cats He is providing, rats He is providing. You just go to Secunderabad railway station, you will find so many rats, well fed, on railway tracks. Okay. You look at it, what is the purpose of that creature? Why such a creature exists? We may not understand, we think actually we have big purpose. But every creature has its right to live. An ant, a grasshopper, a worm. For it, it's a perfect life, right? For a rat, it's perfect life. For us, it's a nuisance. Okay. For a rat, it's a perfect life. Right? It thinks, okay, what are the basic things that we do? And every creature does it. So He is providing for even such creatures. They are not dying of starvation. We are, of course, we worry so much because God has given us this extra capacity, power of imagination and also memory. Of course, we are using against ourselves. But the imagination runs right with us, that is the problem. Because we are not given any method or any spiritual practice which would help us to check the imagination. Otherwise, it runs right there. It goes wild most of the times. People are not suffering anything else. We are suffering the extra faculty, extra capacity that God has given us. We can even positively imagine things, but we are not trained. We are not being trained well for that. If we can learn that, and then life becomes beautiful. The extra capacity will be able to use properly. And that's why I'm saying this cerebral capacity we have to explore the truth, to worship the Lord, to worship our Maker, to worship our Father, and win His grace. And by winning His grace, come out of the samsara of life and death. And put a full stop to this birth, and then life doesn't come to an end there. Say, individual soul, the finite has become the infinite. The limited has become the unlimited. The particular has become the general. The ephemeral has become the eternal. As physical body and mind, we are ephemeral existence. That is the reason the meaninglessness is coming, and of course people are flocking to spiritual organizations. Nothing is actually flourishing as much as the spiritual organizations thrive these days. Young people are also coming, you just see. 30 years back, that was not the situation. It would be very difficult to bring a young man to philosophy. Today, that's not the case. Children and young people are coming to philosophy more than old people. 30 years back, it was very difficult to bring a young man to philosophy. It is very difficult to bring an old man to practice. Very difficult to bring a young man to philosophy. When you are older and very advanced in age, it is difficult to practice things, right? Because by then actually, samskaras are formed so strongly. Mind doesn't yield to us that quickly, right? Now it's a kind of old dog behavior. The habits die hard. It has formed its habits. You ask it to do one particular thing in one particular manner, it doesn't do. Okay? So, this is why the meaninglessness is coming. It's good. It's a part of the nature's evolution game. And so human consciousness in that way is evolving across the globe. People are more and more, the existential issues are bothering them. Why I am here? What is the purpose of life? What is the goal of life? Why did God create this world? Who is the creator of this universe? You may or may not use the word God. Creator you can use. Unless and until these questions are answered, at least to a certain extent. And last time I told you, I think, I had gone to 4 years back to the Warangal, to one of our Seva Samitis. I had a wonderful experience on that day. To participate as chief guest in that, the closing ceremony of the summer camp. And I spoke for, I think, 25 minutes to all the children that had assembled there on that day. And afterwards, the organizers told the children, if you have any questions, children, you can ask the Swami. So for 5 minutes, nobody came forward to ask any question. Then afterwards, one after another, they asked questions. Really, actually, it was an eye-opener for me, a great experience. All of them had asked, without an exception, only philosophical questions. What is soul? What is God? What happens after death? Why did they ask those questions? They had those questions in their minds, but they were sure that their parents would not encourage them actually, to ask these questions. And the teachers also would not give them the reply. They were sure of that. That is the reason they kept those questions suppressed. And when they saw me, actually, the saffron clad, they thought this is the guy whom we should ask these questions. He would be having answers, intellectual answers at least. They sensed it. And even the teachers, when they were assembled, they were surprised. We never knew, Swami, that they had these questions in their minds. Did they ever ask you the questions? Because they were sure that you would not answer them. Parents also, avanini kenduku, why all these questions do you know? You read syllabus, exam. That's all. Right? Syllabus, unit test, quarterly, halfly. Why 2 times, 3 times the child will ask, afterwards no point. They will not encourage me to seek answers to these questions. So much of jignasa, so much of inquisitiveness is there in the child. But we kill that. The conventional education system kills that. Albert Einstein said that, I wonder how curiosity survives formal education. He said that curiosity must be kept up, that inquisitiveness must be kept up. That is the role of education. The jignasa, inquisitiveness, exploration. Not studying the information, dry information, pieces of information that is there in the book you load in the brain and that runs right there. That's not education. Inquisitiveness, jignasa. For example, Vedanta, jignasa is fundamental, You have to investigate with the nature of the truth. You have to have the questions. But unfortunately, our education system is such because there is so much of syllabus packed there. We don't encourage the children to put questions and seek answers to those questions. Of course, that's a different story. Your time is up. We'll just meditate for 2 minutes before we disperse.